Everyone has said such amazing things about storytelling. First of all, I have to say, like, well done everyone that has shared. It's been so much value coming up from the audience and just from people up here on stage. But I want to add by saying, I think the most important thing is to keep learning, keep progressing, having a growth mindset. I love the point that somebody just made. I just can't remember her name right now, but she spoke about, being open to learning. And I think that that's the whole essence of us even having this event today is, giving room for people to come and learn and increase knowledge.
Storytelling is not just the talking, it's also the getting the people involved. If we are able to sell the idea well to the people, then it becomes a mission where everybody is participating. It's no longer just come and buy. When you buy, that is the end of it. No, if the story is imbued into it, the money doesn't count anymore because they are buying into the mission now. They are not just buying into the service alone. They are helping you. They are basically lifting you up.
Owning that house is a status for them. So by using a story, she's not booked out for showing that house because people could envy her showing the house, how she would entertain, how a guest would feel, how it would be nice to show off the house, and now they can get to own it. So that's the power of storytelling, because if you implement it, not only about telling your own stories, but if you implement it in your marketing materials, it's a powerful tool to get through the noise in the market and get people to pay attention to what you are trying to sell.
That we are having today is storytelling for lead generation, and that is important for us because we are talking about business storytelling, how to use or how to leverage the power of storytelling in business, so that we are not just talking about data and statistics all the time. We need to be able to connect to the human emotion, to the human person, to show the human face in our business. It is important for us, and that is what we are going to be dealing with today. I really love the conversation. Before we started to record just now, I told Annie, I said, Annie, this is your line. This is a conversation that we should be having all the time. We should be able to use our story to connect to the people who maybe might be regular people, but who we have the intention of taking in to one day become our client. Because if they know our story, they know what we represent, of course, they make the decision, an informed decision. If they believe in what we are doing, if they want to be part of what we stand for, and then it becomes easier for us later on when we want to do the sales. So that is very important for us. Tanya, let's start with you. Tell the people who you are, and please give your first take on the conversation. Storytelling for lead generation.
You gotta know that lead generation and storytelling are some of my favorite things to do, right? So for those who don't know, I am Tanya Kabuya. I'm a fractional CMO and I run a revenue enablement firm for companies that are in their growth and scale stages in the tech space as well as SME space. And we practically help businesses take their products to market, grow their market share, and also scale their businesses and support them with their operations. And one of the things I love about this, because I was having this conversation with one of our clients, and she's in real estate. So let me just give you a bit of a background. She started real estate, I think a few years back, and she has made a move to luxury real estate. Now, if you've been selling to, let's say, first-time homeowners, it's a completely different market when you're going into luxury real estate. And so when she was trying to sell properties, it wasn't working. It really wasn't helping. She tried everything, ads, Facebook ads, everything, and it wasn't working. So when she came to us, she wanted to really make some changes about the messaging. So we changed it. Now, here's an ad that we launched for her. So she was showing the house, but here's what we did. She's talking about how today is a day where she's entertaining. She's waiting for her guests and she's fixing the kitchen. She just went on a walk. She's fixing everything and making sure that everything is set so that her guests can come through and enjoy themselves. And after that, she shows the outside where there's a patio, there's like a fire pit where they would sit with nice chairs, and she's going into the rooms to get some of the rooms ready so that those that are going to spend the night are gonna spend the night in the guest room. And she's like, but I don't home this home. You could home this home. And here's the thing. She said this ad converted the best in comparison to any of the ads that she has ever launched. And here, let me tell you why. Because stories, she told a story. She was telling them the story of owning the home, how the home would feel, without her having to pitch them in the beginning. So she could draw them in, get them in the picture, to picture the whole house, how it would feel to own that house before they could actually own the house. So what does that trigger? Because when you are selling into luxury or you are selling a premium service, people never buy from fear. And this is something that I even was training on this last week. People don't buy from fear. People buy for fear of missing out. They want to own something. So they buy from a place of envy because it's not about the money. It's about the status. So owning that house is a status for them. So by using a story, she's not booked out for showing that house because people could envy her showing the house, how she would entertain, how a guest would feel, how it would be nice to show off the house, and now they can get to own it. So that's the power of storytelling. Because if you implement it, not only about telling your own stories, but if you implement it in your marketing materials, it's a powerful tool to get through the noise in the market and get people to pay attention to what you are trying to sell. So that's a first one. So we're going to continue that. I'm going to yield the mic for now to Obehi so that we can get this party started.
Thank you so much for that, Tanya. That is really beautiful. That is really beautiful. The story helps us to cut across the clutter, help us to cut across the noise out there so that we can show our face. It is important. People will connect. People will connect if we tell them why. If we tell them why we are doing what we are doing. And if that is laced into the story of what we represent, because people connect to story. I really love that very much. I really do. All right, so I pass to Hannah Idachaba. Please share with us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Obehi, for the introduction and everything. It's always a pleasure to be here. Hello, everyone in the listening lounge. My name is Hannah Idachaba. Oh, by the way, hi, Annie. It's been a while. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Izu. Hi, hello, guys. How are you doing today? So happy new week to everyone. I'm Hannah Idachaba and I'm a personal brand strategist. What that means is I help position personal brands and business brands for more on LinkedIn. More could mean more leads, more sales, more collaborations, more period. And if that's something that you're interested in, pop me a message. So because I'm in the business of creating sales funnels on LinkedIn for clients, I cannot overemphasize the importance of storytelling. It's been a major part and catalyst for what I do for clients and how I've been able to help clients with lead generation. So this topic is one that is really interesting to me because it touches on most of the things that I do on field with clients. One thing that I would say, just because we're doing introductions, I don't want to really go into the nitty-gritties yet, but I would describe storytelling from my experience as a dance. One that introduces the beats and then sways the audience with the beats from side to side that they don't realize that they're going to a destination. That's the way that I've seen storytelling and how I've experienced it to be. It should be interesting, it should be amusing, but it also should be something that people are willing to follow, like a familiar sound, like a beat, one that people don't even realize that they're moving to, a catchy one. And once you're able to tap into that kind of storytelling, I don't see how it cannot be a major lead generation tool. I just said I'm going to do a bit of introduction. I would go deep into what I'm talking about very shortly, but I wanted to thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Obehi. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that, Hannah. Thank you so much. I love that. In fact, I was seeing people really dancing, a kind of a delicate dance, no? When you tell story, I think you also made mention of funny there, because when you tell story now, you lead people, you take them somewhere that you move them from point A to point B. And I think I also like something that you said there, that you get them involved, and sometimes they don't even know that they are doing this dance with you. It looked like a kind of the storytelling exercise that all of us are involved in at the end of the day. And it is very interesting. It's very interesting if it is well told. If a story is well told, there is no way people cannot respond. That is well delivered, Anna. That is really well delivered. Because storytelling is not just the talking, it's also the getting the people involved. If we are able to sell the idea well to the people, then it becomes a mission where everybody is participating. It's no longer just come and buy. When you buy, that is the end of it. No, if the story is imbued into it, the money doesn't count anymore, because they are buying into the mission now. They are not just buying into the service alone. They are helping you. They are basically lifting you up. That cannot be said any better. All right, I move to the most beautiful sound around. Izu Samuel. Thank you so much, brother. Please share with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Obehi, for this time. It's been a long time ever since I came right on this platform to share a couple of things about storytelling. And I must really commend Tanya and Hannah for those insights so far. And greetings to you, Mr. Eni. Greetings to you, Mr. Telly Watts, and all the beautiful people in the VIP lounge. I would have loved to say hello to all of you, but I'm sure that we'll be able to do that much later into the conversation. But I would like to say this very clearly about storytelling. That storytelling is about specific problem, specific solution rather. That's how I would always want to consider storytelling. It means a specific solution. People don't buy solution. People buy specific solutions. Well, the problem we have with most people is that they want to sell solutions. They believe that people are in need of diverse solutions, but not everybody is really in need of diverse solutions. People are in need of specific solutions. Now, the point is this: there is no story that is devoid of a problem. In fact, the beauty of storytelling is in the problem attached to the story. And if you want to really bring people into the space of getting to ask the simple question, what exactly are the specific solutions that you're bringing to the table? You need to be able to effectively now tell stories that will not only capture the attention of people, but you'll be able to tell stories that has the capacity to be able to cause people to know clearly what solution specifically you're bringing to the table. I've come to realize that although the market space is very noisy, specific solutions are highly valuable. And just take a very good example to this, what I'm about to say right now. If you are in an environment where there is no water, you are in the desert, one of those deserts that's, I mean, the temperature is on the high side and you are in need of a liter of water, and someone just shows a liter of water to you and begins to not just providing the liter of water to you, but the person positions the liter of water in a way that you know that it's either you go for that 1 liter of water or you will just be at the verge of losing your life. Believe me, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, it doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter who gave birth to you. You would pay whatever you have or whatever that is mentioned to you in order to grab that 1 liter of water, in order to sustain your organs to be alive. That example exemplifies the concept of telling stories with specific solutions. When you tell stories with specific solutions, people are always motivated and inspired to want to invest into what you're talking about. And final word I'll leave with you as I yield the mic to Mr. Obehi so we can get up with this conversation is this. Would you like to be considered as a solution, or would you like to be considered as a person who has specific solution for a specific person's? So if you are able to answer this question through the lens, seeing it through the lens of what we are all here gathered for, I'm very sure that you will be able to tell stories that will not only lead people to what you're offering, but you will tell stories that will help people with their specific challenges, with a specific solution. I'd like to say thanks to you, Mr. Obehi, for having me right here. I think my voice has changed. Ever since I got married, I noticed my voice changed. The mic is yours.
This is very beautiful, Izu. We love you. We love you with always all the twist into it. You know, okay, let me put it this way. Every one of us is bringing an important part that make the beauty of this room. We are all adding different flavor to the room, and it's making it more interesting all the time. Because if it were one person, sometimes it would be a little bit monotonous. But by bringing these different elements into it, it makes it more beautiful, more lively, and more interesting to actually stay. Because storytelling now, we will see, is not just throwing out the data out there. And there is a part of it that is entertainment. There is a part of it that is inciting. There is a part of it that is creating anxiety. There is a part of it that is creating curiosity. But at the end of the day, you are using the storytelling to lead people from point A to point B. And I want us to pay attention to what Izu says there. Who are you in this kaleidoscope now? Are you bringing a solution to the people, or are you a problem for the people? Because if you can define this properly, if you can define it well, then the people will gravitate to you. Okay, let me rephrase that. Depending on how you present yourself, a certain type of people will gravitate to you. Now, if you pay attention to that, then you can see that you are actually sitting on the driver's seat, meaning that you are determining who should come to you by the type of story you tell and the way you tell that story. That is really powerful, brother. That is powerful. T. Howard, don't worry, we are coming to you just now. First, I want to pass the mic to the godfather of the room, Mr. Eni. Of course, you are going to do the greeting to the people. Please, the mic is yours. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much. That's amazing shares, everyone. So I'll come back to that in a second. So Bill, welcome. No, we have met before, Bill. So Obehi mentioned our good sister Gloria. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So David, I see you. Terrence, I see you as well. Professor Shirley, of course I see you. Professor Shirley is one of my co-hosts. You know, we'll do a room on educators' well-being. So if you're an educator, please connect with her. And I should, if you're a homeschooling parent as well, carer, connect with her as well, because that's her passion. And she has many things to help people in that area. Alex, welcome. Glad you're here. So my storytelling strategist friend, Jay, welcome. I know you do many other things, Jay, including banner design. So, you know, I'm your client on those things. So Jay is multi-talented. Do connect with him. He has an amazing audio room as well. Samuel, I see you. Spencer, welcome. Lady Drew, we see you as well. Esther, Dr. Gwendoline, amazing author with several books. Several being 15 books, more. All while she's going around the world improving our schools and making sure education works for our kids. David, I see you as well. Business growth expert. I see my friend Andre. So we're having, I know that we'll do it next week around burnout. And that's Andre's passion as a coach. So again, do connect with him. Elijah, I see you as well. Wilma, welcome. Sylvia, all the way from Accra, I'm glad you're here. So Bernard, my good friend Joshua. Oh, Joshua. What can I say about Joshua? Apart from Joshua has an amazing voice. It does what I would never do, which is sing, in public. Because if I do that, I lose everyone in the room, right? Yes, I can see the stage empty and everyone just leaving. Where Joshua can actually sing. Amazing. So connect with him. It's a musical genius. It really is. Don't take my word for it. Listen to him, and you find out why I say such words. Margaret, welcome. So Mary, my friend Zizi, I see you. Johnny, so Namo, Moses, I see you all. Matthias, welcome. Just following you, Matthias. Tanique, glad you're here. So Tanique has a big presentation coming up. So I appreciate you taking your time out to spend with us. I really do. Thank you so much. So Janice, I see you. So Jennifer, and she has out of the box thinking for businesses. So if you do events, she has big ideas how to move your events forward. And if you need funding, she has big ideas again how to get the funding you need. That's sort of what she does. So I love what she does for a living. Joy, welcome. I see you. Adedayo. So my brother Zara, glad you're here. Where am I going next? Oh, my screen just froze. Atul, I see you as well. Junior, welcome. Junior, blimey. It's been years, Junior. I know it's you, so we must talk, Junior. So my friend Alexis, so author, publisher friend, she's a superstar. So that's why we have a room coming out soon. We're going to talk about right to business content. That's part of the conversation today, right? Storytelling, but for your business. So Alexis, welcome. And then last but certainly not least, my good friend, Professor Roxana. Glad you're here. So Professor Roxana and I have just written a group book, lessons learned through COVID. We're two of 9 authors who are written about COVID experience that can inspire, educate, inform, entertain people who will ask the question in years to come. What was COVID really like for the ordinary people? They do connect with her. She's also a maths genius. So that's not me. So that's definitely her thing, right? Welcome, my friends. It's great to see you all. For those who don't know me, so I'm Ene Osang, and I'm always blessed to be amongst a room of superstars. Now, you're all stars in what you do. You're all amazing. So I always learn from all of you. Monday's no exception. Monday's probably learn the most, right? Just listening to our speakers introduce themselves, I've learned a lot already about storytelling. And by the time we leave today, we're going to be on the verge of being very good at storytelling. Not quite experts, because I think we need a bit more help, a bit more structure that you can get in an hour's conversation, right? So my passion in life is helping people to write their books. If you have a dream to write your book, like I just told you, I just finished writing mine. I published 2 of my clients' books over the weekend. So literally, that's what I do for people. If you've written a book, not published it, let's talk. Let's get that book out there. Your book's doing no good to you on your computer, right? If you've got a book that's published, not selling, let's talk. Again, I want to help you sell the book. Then you're not helping anyone. You're definitely not helping yourself either. Of course, my other favorite trick is audio rooms. So I will help you organize these rooms, plan the rooms, fill the rooms, and if you want my voice in your conversation, I might even help you co-host the room as well. These are the ways I make you famous. See, this is the reason why I've done what I've done today in the order I have, right? I mean, like my friends have said, there's different levels of storytelling over here. And we have to understand the different levels. I think Tanya talked beautifully about how we can almost have a different goal to our stories that we tell, different objective, which almost seems counterintuitive to what we really want people to buy from us. She talks about how her clients generating almost jealousy, generating almost enjoyment through the way they set up the house and the event. See, storytelling has different purposes. If you're, of course, we have to start with getting people's attention to actually look at it and to say, can I trust you? Do I know what you do? Am I interested potentially? So unless someone says yes to those three questions, then they're not going to be interested in whatever you do, right? So almost that's where storytelling really starts. We have to get people's attention. Say then there's many different ways we can do that. So we have to learn what those stories are. And then once you got their attention, of course, you actually want them to be interested in you, actually want to find out more about you. Again, the stories that you can tell at that stage. Today's conversation is more the stories about how do we make people take our call to action? How to make them say actually want to talk to you. As my friend Izu said, in this stage, we have to be very, very deliberate. We have to be very, very intentional about saying, I can have a solution for you. Very specific, very targeted. And again, Tanya said the same thing. And then, of course, Hannah said something very similar. There's ways to tell story to people that says, I can help you. By the way, take the call to action now. That's what storytelling for lead generation really comes down to. I'll tell you more if I get a chance when we come around to the conversation itself. Obehi, let me pass the mic back to you, my brother. It's all yours.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I really do. And of course, you're going to have your time again. All of us are going to have our time to come around, because we do have some sizable number in the VIP room. It's going to be like this. Of course, when we have people coming in, we allow them to also share something. But of course, each of us is going to have a question to respond to, so we can help the listener understand and get more value out of the time that we are spending here. And of course, for the people that are going to tune into this conversation later on, because our strategy here is to record the room so that they can be available. Why are we doing that? We are doing that because at the heart of Aclasses, which is actually our business page, we strongly believe in the power of story, in the power of leaving something behind, which is even when we are gone, even when we are no longer here, the conversation that we are having now is going to be available for people. Our children are going to have access to it, because this is the time for us to build our story, to build our narrative, and to leave something behind for them. So we are doing this intentionally, recording the room and making it available for people that are going to be here to also learn from them. Now, why are we doing that? You see, in the course of my exploration with different people in this research that led to the creation of this 5-part book series, and therefore this storytelling series, is that I carried out the research about the presence of Africans in northern Italy. Many of the people that I've interviewed there, in fact, some of them are no longer here in the city where I am. Is there any relevance to that? For some persons, no. But for me, yes. You see, my son was born here in Verona. My son, as a minimum, need to know who are other people like him that have been here. That is about his identity. He need to know these people so he can learn. Also because the people that are going to be here after now, if they don't have any trace, or the people that look like they in this space, they will not know how to even figure out their passes. All these are intentional. And having listened and looked at the people that I've interviewed, some of them, unfortunately, sorry to say, have died too. I've interviewed people whom, after I have maybe published their episodes, somebody will call me and say, oh, that person you have interviewed the other day is dead. And this have not happened only 1 or 2 times, a number of times. And that also goes to say that the chance that we have to tell our story, we should really treasure it. because there is no guarantee that you are going to be here tomorrow. So let's leverage this story. Let's use it to connect. Let's use it as an instrument to build connection. That is what storytelling is in for, to build connection, to connect with people. Whether you are in 4-500 or you are just a business in the corner that is trying to do something, at the end of the day, if you are using storytelling, you are looking for a better way to connect to the audience. Because the people you are serving are people. And the best way to speak to people is to use story. Because every one of us have a story. In fact, I used to say in Obehi podcast, of course, I still believe that every one of us has a story to share. And that is true, whether we know it or not. So I want to thank every one of you that are here, that are listening. And of course, for those that are going to be here again to listen to this recording. All right, so I'm going to pass the mic to Tanya. Tanya, you're going to help us understand something. Because we like to connect to you and also to your personal experiences. In this case now, if you could share with us how you leverage storytelling for lead generation in your business, please share with us. And of course, maybe some recommendation for other people too.
Fantastic question. I love it. So if you haven't been in any of the past rooms, I may suggest that you find Obehi channel to go back and listen to some of the rooms we've created. So I'm not going to elaborate on a lot of the things I've already spoken on about the different type of stories you need to tell. So there's something that I believe all entrepreneurs or anyone in marketing and sales needs to understand. And this is often the biggest mistake that I see being done with businesses. And I used to make that mistake. And when I changed it, I saw tremendous change in how much leads and qualified pipeline, because lead generation, you can generate leads. You can get on Zoom Info, take a list and have 1,000 leads. But the problem is, do those leads convert? Do they become clients? That is the biggest thing you need to understand. There's lead generation, there's demand generation, there's creating demand. Those are three things you need to be able to distinguish in marketing. Now, where storytelling plays a role is in demand generation and demand creation, because they help you create qualified pipeline. So I was speaking about the mistakes that most businesses make. Most businesses make this mistake of only marketing their product. So here's the thing: when you are marketing a product or you're putting a message out into the world, you are marketing against the category that you exist in. You are marketing against the problem that you solve, and you are marketing the product. Most businesses only market the product, the service, or whatever. Now that is where they fall short, because now the messaging, if you don't know what is messaging is how you communicate your value proposition to the market, falls short, because we can only make a decision once we have decided that we need that solution. So when you only market the product, the service, you are talking to 3 to 5% of the market. And in any market, 95% of the market is not in buying mode. So when you do not market against the category, and you do not market against the problem, you shut 95% of the market off and you focus on the 5%. Now, that 5% is where everybody is focused. This is where everybody is going. This is the fragment of the market that everybody wants to grab. Now, that's where you see competition. If somebody has been in the market a lot longer, they've created a demand, maybe they've not captured enough, you grab some of that demand, but at a certain level, you are capped, you stagnate, you can't grow anymore. You even notice that your sales and growth starts to decline, because you are marketing to a market that already knows, but that's only like the tip of the iceberg. So how do we leverage that? Is that we love to market against the category. What is a category? My category, for example, is business growth. So I market against the problems that I see in the marketing. Like now, I just told you about how all of you, a lot of you, not all of you, but a lot of you are marketing only to the 5%. That's me speaking to the problem. I'm marketing right now against the problem in the market. Because now when I'm telling you this, you're like, oh, it clicks. Now I move you from being unaware to becoming aware of the problem. Now, when you know that you have a problem, kind of like if you feel hungry, now you know you're hungry, what are you going to try to do? You're going to try to find some food to eat. And when you're trying to find some food to eat, now you're looking for solutions. Now you want to know what you want to eat. Now, when you're marketing against a category, for example, when I'm trying to market against a category, one of the things that I do is speak about how most businesses in the ecosystem that I serve, because I serve the tech ecosystem, are on this blitz-scaling path, hyper growth, where they are growing their businesses, growing their revenue, but there's no profit. And when they are scaling their businesses, they feel like they are inside Elon Musk rocket about to explode on their way to Mars. And that you should actually try to grow your business in a sustainable and profitable manner. It works out way better for you and for the investors at the same time instead of you losing the money. That's me marketing against the category. And now when I talk about my services, that it makes sense to you if you are now like, hey, I actually don't want to be inside an Elon Musk rocket and about to implode, and it's affecting my mental health. I'm working 80 hours a week and I have no peace. I actually want to create demand so that I become a category leader in the market and that people actually want to do business with me. And I am the Apple of my industry. I am the leader of my industry. Now, when I talk about doing working with us inside of or programs or inside containers in terms of services that we offer for go-to-market, a business that has gone through that journey of understanding what we stand for, because we've marketed against the category and we've marketed against the problem, and they have self-identified. Such a business become engaged and become qualified pipeline, and it is easier to sell to them. Because let me tell you, your most precious thing as a business owner is your time. And the worst thing you can use your time for is trying to convince a prospect or a lead of the value you offer because they are not convinced of that. So you will be chasing your tail for months and increasing your sales cycle because you do not have that. Because when you only market your product, and this is where stories play a role, because with the story, you can immediately tell the market how to self-qualify themselves. So by the time somebody is booking a call with you, they know exactly what they are on there for and why they are on that call. So you don't have to tell them, like, okay, you don't get on the call and you get so what do you do for us? If you get that on any sales call, that means your marketing has missed the point. So you want to start telling stories when you're marketing against the category. You see, like now I told you about how it feels to try to scale without profit and without being sustainable. Anybody that is in such a business, me describing that tells you how you feel, and you know how it feels. So you know I'm talking to you. It's a story. In the same way, when I'm marketing against a problem, that you are sitting on your desk and you're looking at your screen and you're looking at the charts and your revenue keeps declining and you feel like nothing is working, your team is not showing up on time, everybody feels like they're working on eggshells. You don't want to see an investor drop you an email. The minute that email lights up your inbox, you can feel the anxiety in your body. That's a story. And I'm talking to exactly the person who's facing that problem. Now I'm marketing against the problem. So now when I extend an invitation to you to work with us, you're like, they get it. Because make no mistake, whether it is you are selling B2B or B2C, the one thing we all have is feeling. The one thing we all have, even though in B2B, it's not completely emotional, the emotions that people want to avoid will help determine the buying decision. So that's how we leverage that in our own businesses as well in our clients' businesses. Kind of like how I shared earlier with our clients. With her, it's a different perspective where she's trying to get people to feel the enjoyment of owning that house. It's the same thing. So I hope that helps somebody here. If you have any question here, feel free to raise your hand and come up on stage. We are here to serve you.
Thank you so much for that, Tanya. Thank you so much for that. That is really beautiful and it's really powerful too and highly valuable. I appreciate that. And of course, I know that the people that are listening and those that will listening later find value in that. And you see, one thing is to say something because you have heard of it. Another thing is to say it because you're actually living it. So what Tanya is sharing is her experience. In fact, that is why we are here, to share with you the experiences that we have dealing with other businesses. For example, there is something that we usually do in Aclasses for businesses that we create content for. In that we say, okay, there is this offer that we can create, which you can sometimes even give for free to the person that is just coming into your business. In that the person that is coming is not warm yet, it's cold. You don't just tell the person, this person is just knocking on the door, you say, buy. You let the person have a feel of what you can offer. We usually have a 5-day strategy to do this. By the end of the 5 days, the person now knows who you are. He knows your story. He knows where you are coming from. He knows what you represent. So if the person were to pick up a call to call you, or you were to call the person at that time, you don't need to start saying, this is what we do. The person knows what you do. If you are interesting to them, or if they are interested in what you do, they know how to deal with you because they know who you are now. They know what are your value, and they have a feel of what you can offer. Storytelling helps us to do this and do it perfectly. And I think that is really very important. It's one of the reasons why we must leverage the power of storytelling to get people into our service. Because through the story, they know whether we are a good fit for them or not. Because there is no guarantee that everybody out there is going to be a good fit for you. It is not possible. We have over 5 billion people on the internet as of today. Every one of them cannot be your client. It is not possible. If you tell your story, you make it possible for people to understand whether they want to stand by you or go the other way. You cannot save everybody, but your storytelling will establish this. But with that, I want to move to Izu. Then, of course, I will move to Hannah later on. Izu, I want to ask you, what do you see as maybe some challenges? It can be 3 or 2 or 4 that people might have in using storytelling for lead generation in business. And what can you see also as solution to those challenges? Maybe 2 or 3. Please share with us.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
All right. So, what I would say concerning this question, because I consider this question to mean so much, and I would just lay my legs on the foundation that was already led by, Tanya, and a little bit of it by Nicola. I would say the first thing that limits marketing or using the stories for lead generation has to do with the personality involved, the personality of the business, and the personality in the business. What that means is very simple. We have fantastic stories. We also have fantastic person and fantastic persons. We have fantastic companies, fantastic establishments. We also have fantastic staff. People that drive the vision of that organization is as important as what that organization is marketing and selling to the rest of the people. Now, The reason most people experience this level of difficulty in using stories to drive lead generation is that for some reason and on the basis of research, most of the personalities do not match with the stories being told. For you to effectively tell stories that convert, you need to build a solid personality. Because sometimes people want to see you before they even buy. People want to hear you before they even buy. People want to meet you before they want to do business about whatever you're selling. So, if you're here today, and as much as it's important for us to create the awareness for effective storytelling, you also need to build a solid personality. For a solid personality, you need to be someone that no matter who connects to you, the person would never regret connecting with you. Now, the second challenge that I've seen also regarding this is that most people do not understand what stories to tell. And when you don't understand what story to share as a business, sometimes it becomes a challenge. Sometimes you feel you're sounding like a broken record because to you, you are not being creative. You don't have new materials you're releasing every day. But this is the point here, ladies and gentlemen. There are diverse stories regarding this that leads to the lead generation. You have the stories about client to customer and customer to client. You have the stories about the vision of what your business is about. The vision is segmented into seven. You have the story about your struggles. You have the stories about the successes recorded by your clients. There are so many stories that you can put out right there. So the problem again here is that most people believe that storytelling is a system that takes a certain structure. And there is nothing wrong with thinking in that regards, but you need to understand that storytelling is very open. It's not limited. Doesn't have doesn't have just one style. You can tell one story in many ways, and there are many ways to be able to dissect an experience and build it up into a story base. And the final challenge that I think that limiting most people from this experience has to do with, um, we call it in storytelling Zolenak. Zolenak is a local word, but I'll break it down for those of you who don't know what that means. What that means is that most people experience imposter syndrome. And no matter how you want to see it, imposter syndrome has the tendencies of effectively limiting your effectiveness. So that imposter syndrome has a way of putting you outside of the box, whereas you should be in the box. Imposter syndrome would also limit you from building the structure of your business. You listen to what Tanya was talking about. You come on a call with someone and you're asking the person, what exactly would you like me to do for you? That's a problem. So imposter syndrome in this regard is one of those problems that I've also seen that challenges effectual storytelling that leads to businesses and opportunities converted. But the best way to manage this imposter syndrome is to put yourself to training. Necessarily, you may not need a coach to guide you. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Google, but specifically, you might need a coach to help you to understand specific dimensions and dynamisms to this. So, those are just a few of my observations, but I'm very sure that there are many more observations regarding this challenge. But in all, I would like to reiterate my first point. You must build, and respectfully speaking, a solid personality for your story to make a meaning. If you tell powerful stories without a solid personality, you may never ever be able to convert your opportunities. You need to be solid to be able to effectively convert your opportunities and for your stories to be believed. Because I've seen people who tell stories and people doubt them. I've seen businesses that tell stories and people don't want to buy from them. So every business has a personality and every vision has a personality. So investing and solidifying your personality is as good as whatever product, wherever specific solution that you want to bring to the table. I'd like to say thank you once again, Mr. Obehi, for this question and hope you got value from this response of mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. I got a lot of value from that. A lot of value from that. I really appreciate that. Anyway, it's a good thing that we're recording this room because somebody that just hear one piece of it would really have missed a lot. But the room is being recorded. So in case you miss any part of it, you can watch the whole of it and listen to it again. So I appreciate this sharing here. For the people that are joining us, I just want to claim your indulgence. Please be brief so that we can sort of pass it around again. Just be straight to the point, to the conversation. All of you will have the chance to talk. So let's be brief on that. So I want to pass the mic to the storytelling strategist himself, Jay Pasquale. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. Please share with us. Yes, you know the drill. Go on.
Yes, thank you, Obe. It's good to be in conversation with you again. I lots of gems today. Listening to everybody. I want to just kind of thank Eddie as well for his introduction of me earlier. He talked about me helping him with his background and with some of his graphics. What I want to say to that is when it comes to brand building, visual storytelling is also key. And so that brand building includes all aspects of how to tell a story. And it's several layers. But to talk about today's topic, when it comes to lead generation, really it's a vital component of any business's marketing strategy. It involves the identification and attraction of potential customers interested in any business's products or services. So storytelling serves as that cornerstone in this process. Especially in the digital market, right? Captivating the target audience, forging connections, ultimately prompting them to action, like Eddie was talking about, the CTA. All of that is important in a crowded digital market space, like they were talking about earlier as a result of COVID. I think Nicola had brought that up. Yeah, and it's true. So how do you differentiate yourself from that? Well, you tell a story. I've been in the business of working in contact centers. And if you're doing outbound calls, you have almost just a millisecond of trying to build rapport. And how do you build rapport? The easiest way is to kind of tell a story to be able to engage them quickly. So developing engaging narratives, right? That's important. There are four things really that you got to look up, and when it comes to kind of honing in on a message and building that rapport with an audience. Developing engaging narratives is one. You got to craft compelling stories that's going to resonate deeply with the target audience. That's paramount. You got to go over the pain points, the aspirations, values, and these things are not just the business, but the founders and the people who have their vested interest in that business. So two, you got to leverage diverse channels for interaction, right? Storytelling shouldn't be confined to that single platform. You got to look at different ways, like everybody was talking about, different ways of uh, reaching that audience. How many channels? What platforms are you using? These are things that you have to consider when it comes to the modern era of storytelling, because how can we reach people? Where can we reach them? We got to reach them where they are. The other thing I think is important is you got to encourage active participation with those channels, like interactive content, right? Quizzes, polls, surveys. These are the things that are going to allow you to have a conversation without actually having a conversation. You're getting that feedback. Your people are telling you yeah, I love what you're doing, but you're missing this, right? And the way you do that is with those things like quizzes, polls, and surveys, interactive videos, right? These are the things that are going to engage people. And I think one other thing, I just want to be brief so that everybody has a chance, highlighting customer experiences and encouraging that feedback I just talked about. That's important. Incorporating real life testimonials, case studies, these things that you just got information from those quizzes, stories, and feedback. Storytelling adds that credibility and authenticity that everybody keeps talking about, right? Maybe overused, but it's what people are looking for in what we want as human beings, right? We want to have that connection. COVID was proof of that, and it's what drove people to the digital platforms that exist today and are flourishing today, because we all wanted to, one, share our story, and two, hear other people's stories, right? So those things are inherently part of us, and it's because of those things that endear us to brands. I'll leave it with one final example. In 2023, many of us watched a movie that was pretty much an entire commercial. And that movie was called Air, right? Air. It was about the Nike brand building on the reputation of a young gentleman named Michael Jordan. We barely even got to see Michael Jordan. We know who Michael Jordan is. Many people around the globe know who he is as a result of him being an icon in athleticism, and specifically basketball. But we all sat there watching a commercial, which was eventually a theatrical release, right? But it was the compelling story behind it that kept us in our seats wanting to know more. We know about Michael Jordan. We didn't know that Nike was on the brink of not being a brand because of that situation before that, right? So these are the things that we have to consider. If we need to stand out, if we need to establish that rapport, we need to be telling our stories and helping our clients, if we are strategists, to do so. I just wanted to bring that to the conversation. Thank you so much, Obehi. Back to you.
Thank you so much, brother. That is so valuable. That is really so valuable. You see, that is, everything is a confirmation that storytelling really is a power, is a magic. It's everything in business and in communication. That is why the big brands, like you're saying, making reference to Nike and the art that they did. People like Elon Musk, for example, are very powerful in this, that they come around to share their story. And they're doing the same thing over and again because they want to connect. You see, Jay, you were making reference to COVID-19, that at that time people wanted to share their story. That is true. And he also said something to that effect. The people after now we are going to ask the question, what really transpired in the so-called COVID-19? Now, let me tell you a little story. In that period of COVID-19, that is actually when my podcast actually got itself rebranded and become what it is today. Because up until that time, I wasn't really doing it. Sometimes I just come online and do something. But during that COVID-19 was when I really opened up the conversation. But where do you think I was at the time? I was in the hospital. Okay, my medical situation wasn't really the type that could really immobilize me because, okay, I was still functioning. Okay, I was being medicated, but I was functioning. So I took my computer with me. In my hospital bed, I did a lot of interview. What I was essentially doing was I was so interested in learning about how are the people feeling. I interview a lot of psychologists. I interview a lot of people in US, in UK, in Canada, in Nigeria, because the story of COVID-19 was really, it's something that we were not used to. How can you lock up the economy? Because we are used to going out, but now we cannot do that anymore. Now the question was, how are you feeling? How are you living that moment? You see, if you take a sample of opinion of the people, you will see that a lot of industry actually spring up during that period because something happened to the human being when it's left alone to reflect. A lot of artists, invention happened in that period. If you think I'm lying, just take some time, speak to people, look around. You will see that a lot of people did something incredibly beautiful. But of course, that also increased a lot of domestic violence and all of that. That is what some people were telling me during the interview. So the sharing of these stories are important because they help us to connect. Because I was really interested in that connection because now you are alone. What do you do now? How are you living this moment? When we share our story, we connect to other hearts and then something magical happens. It is powerful if we can use that to bring people into our world. Okay, let me use it another way, to bring people into our business. Because when they connect to us, then something powerful begins to take place. All right, Hannah, I have a question for you. What would be maybe some of your recommendation as the best strategy to leverage storytelling for lead generation in business? What would you like to suggest to people?
Thank you very much, Mr. Obehi, for that question. Before I answer the question, I would like to first say that a good story isn't enough to convert leads to sales. Your story would have to do more than being good. It would have to be persuasive. It would have to be convincing enough to convert leads to sales. With that said, I'm going to be sharing few strategies that I implement for my clients that help them attract more leads using storytelling. And one of those strategies is including storytelling into the content mix, the content strategy. If you are thinking about building a personal brand, or you're already building a personal brand, or you want to grow your business brand further, it is essential to look at the content that you put out. I believe that content is the major catalyst that not only attracts customers, but keeps customers. And I'll expatiate on that further. But you want to infuse storytelling into your content, your digital space, online, your website, your social media. I know that you might have heard this a lot, but there's something that people miss in this: the need for uniformity in your message. So oftentimes you go on people's websites and they have a story there, and then you go on their social media pages and then there is something extremely different from what was shared on the website. And that's why it's so important. I always say this: let there be uniformity in your story. Let your story be uniform in the sense that let there be a flow. You want it to have a flow. You want people to understand the next story because it leads to the next one. There's a flow. You can understand why the man then went to the market because she's giving an introduction as to what he was looking for in the market. But what I found is disjointed stories. And you want to avoid that. So you want to look at uniformity. You want to look at how well you are telling your stories using your content. That would mean to create a content strategy. That would mean to have a content strategy for a month, depending on how long you want it to run for. But it is essential to look at the content that you're putting out and the uniformity, the flow. Another thing that I would be saying I use as a strategy is to wear the shoes of your customers. There's a popular saying about how the person wearing the shoe knows where it hurts. And it's true. If you want to understand, because when I hear stuff about pain points, I feel like it's overused. It is important, but I feel like that word is overused to the point that people might lose the meaning. So how do you understand the pain points of your customers? Wear the shoe. If you need to go onto the field and see what the problems are, if you need to talk to them, if you need to shut up and observe, don't do the talking, do the listening, and really understand where the problems are and who and where they might be lacking, then you can then prepare solutions with your stories. So mind you, if you had followed what I said in the beginning, I spoke about how storytelling is like a dance, right? When you're dancing, there's the beats, there is the introduction, there is the swaying from side to side. So in as much as it is important to state the pain points and provide solutions, you also want to position yourself as solution giver, as the best man or woman for the job. And how do you do that? Is by understanding what the problems are, be directly involved into the activities of your customers so you can understand what the problems that they're going through is. And then not just understanding it, but then creating content. Going back to what I said about the importance of content, creating content that address those problems, but storytelling being a major catalyst for those sort of content. Another strategy that I also recommend is always remember that you want to evoke a feeling. And how do you evoke a feeling? We already spoke about how storytelling does that and why it's unique to other forms of content. Because let's be honest, there are different sorts of content out there. A lot of people are doing a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to sales. People want to sell. So how do you evoke emotions? You cannot evoke emotions if you do not understand the customer's pain point. So that really lays into you understanding the customer's pain point and then speaking to the problem. So say your customer has a problem of job searching, because that's what LinkedIn is for being honest. LinkedIn is here for people who are looking for jobs. It's really job oriented. So if you're on LinkedIn and that's your niche and that's what you want to address, that's the pain point that you want to address, you evoke emotion by setting the tone, by telling them exactly how they feel. And I love that people have touched on that. It's saying, I know how frustrating it is to wake up in the morning and feel like all the jobs that you're applying for, you're not getting any feedback. Well, this is how it feels. You wake up, you open your laptop, go through your emails, and you get the sorry, unfortunately, we cannot hire you message. You are not just writing that or telling that story. What you're doing is you're speaking to the problem and the pain that that person feels, opening your laptops, opening the computers and seeing the emails and how they feel afterwards. And then you're saying, well, this is what we do in our agency. We're going to help you so that when you wake up, instead of seeing those negative emails, we will be sending you the positive ones. So give us the role of going out and doing the search for you so you don't have to bother about those feelings that you get when you open the emails. My point is you want to evoke emotions, but you cannot evoke emotions if you do not understand who you're speaking to. Going back to wearing the shoes of your customer, wearing the shoes of your audience so that you know where it hurts, so that you know where it pinches. With that said, I think I'm going to end by saying most of the time, stories that you want to tell shouldn't be about you alone. And I think that that's a major misconception. Just to add to what I've already shared, a major misconception is sharing stories about yourself alone. And I think that most people mistake storytelling to, oh, I'm just going to share a story about what I had for lunch. I think that's okay. I think that's good if you want to just do like informative story or just want to engage with people. But when you're doing business stories, in as much as people talk about putting your personality on the stand on the front, I do believe that when it's business, you want to put your personality, but you also want to put your business on the forefront. So yes, it's good to share what you ate for lunch, but it's also good to talk to your customers about what your business does for them, and sometimes be less about you and more about them. That would be like, just to add to the question you asked, Mr. Izu, about like, misconceptions. That would be one that I would add. It's just to focus your stories on the people rather than yourself. Because I see that a lot. It's self-centered rather than customer-centered. And if it's for business, you want it to be customer-centered. I'm just going to end with that. I really hope that this helps somebody out there. But listen, we're up here ready for your questions, and our DMs, I believe, are open if you have further questions to ask. Once again, my name is Hannah Dachaba, and I'm always so thankful and grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is so interesting. That the focus must remain on the client, the listener, the audience. I think we did a room already on that, because it's so important that we realize that it is the person who is listening to the conversation that is most important than you that is telling the story. So if you put them in the story, they are more interested in your story. Therefore, you have somebody to talk to. I think it sort of work that way, no? Because if you put it about you, and then they might not find interest in it, so you then remain alone talking to yourself. that might not be what you actually want, because if that is all you are doing, you are not going to get anything out of your storytelling effort. So it makes sense that we should focus on the people, those that are listening to us, so that this dance can go on. I think that is really, really very valuable. All right, so I will move to Mijana. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly. Mijana Mikovic. Please go ahead and share with us and be brief.
Hello from Serbia. I resonate with all stories you shared here. And I think for me currently is the best to share my current story. I just talked with the lawyer. I'm fired off in the company which was sold after after I was at the sick leave. They produced some I don't know how to say, but I am in the recovering phase when I'm talking about my health, and they even didn't stop with pushing in all ways they could afford, legally and unlegally, here in Serbia. And we entered some kind of negotiation, legally approved here, and I just spoke with my lawyer. They offered some amount of money, which is, I don't know how to say, stupidity of the small company and interest groups, and saving the money in every way when we are talking about people. And I think that you can understand what I'm talking about. Currently, I'm really pissed off because I said, please, I will give you several days and you can say me what is the amount you offer. And they had these several days, and even after it, now I hear that amount that is something that I can earn as a month salary in some serious company. Uh, uh, I don't want to upset someone or do anything in negative way, but when you go through these kind of things, I had it before in my career. Only point from my career I can take as a positive is definition of product management job, because I am digital product manager. You need to satisfy a business goal and give value to the users. That is the main point of this job. But if you have obstructions in any way, you can not do it. So the best way, I think, is to enter a good, mature company which can value your work, or be entrepreneur and follow everything you said before me on this audio event. I really appreciate every speech I heard here, and I want to encourage everyone to keep moving and to live some balanced life, because we are all aware that we live in times currently which are speedy, fast changing of everything, and we need to incorporate in everything that is happening around the world. Thank you very much for.
Thank you so much for your sharing. If there is anything we must take away from this time that we are living in, is that we need to connect to one another, to share That is what I think the power of internet is also asking us to do. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings. If big businesses out there are using story or are being told to use story, is for this reason. We want to connect. Even if you are buying product from other people, okay, you are a product manager, we need to put the people at the forefront of the product that we are designing in our company, in the messages that we are sending out, in the story that we are telling. Because if we can connect to the people, like I was saying before, we will turn the entire process into a movement, into a mission, so that people can share in it. Then it becomes bigger than us now. It becomes their own instead of just my own selfish ego product or project. So yeah, this is the time for us to connect. This is what this time is telling us to do, to use story to be able to generate lead for our business. It means to be able to connect people to what we are doing. Annie, please help me with this. Because when you were talking before, I think you did make mention of trust. And that really stick to my head. In that, how are you going to take money away from the people and give them something, whether it is a product or a service? If the people don't trust you, it's not going to work. So building trust, therefore, is going to be very important. But how do we do that? Please share with us, what are some of your strategy to build trust in storytelling so we can use it to drive lead into our business? Please share your recommendation with us.
Great question, Obehi. Now, again, let me do me first. Let me, so there's many more people who joined us I haven't mentioned, so that I'll answer your question, my friend. So, Gregory, welcome. Denise, I see you. Lydia, welcome. My good friend Bakari, amazing author, amazing speaker. Darlington, I see you too. Dr. Marcia, another one of my amazing co-authors on the anthology, Lessons Learned Through COVID. I'm glad you're here. Dr. Marcia is doing a lot more speaking events as well these days. So thanks for joining us. Mohammed all the way in Dubai. So Teresa, yeah, there's another one that we're going to do an audio room together around wine and using wine in business, making wine work, full stop, and how wine, the wine industry as a whole. Sunena, if I pronounce your name properly. Renada, I see you. I mentioned you, Peter, I think, and Sylvia. Joshua Lee, welcome, good friend of mine. Amazing sharer, amazing supporter of all our events. Toko, I've just followed you. So Tilawat, I think you were on stage earlier. Sidiva, welcome. Purity, and Dr. Phillips, I see you as well. Yeah. And my sister Prudence, and the most amazing person on the react buttons on here. Thank you so much for joining us. Dentist, I see you as well. Welcome, all of you. So, Dr. Obehi, you asked about building trust. Of course, the whole point of business, you're not going to get someone to spend money with you unless you build trust. I mean, let's face it, as businesses, to sell something to someone or to provide a service to someone, what we're saying to them is, leave the person or the people you're doing business with now. Leave the people that you know already and people that you probably like, you probably trust, and come trust me instead with your money, with your hopes, with your dreams. So, we have to realize that, someone making a decision to buy is a huge step. It's a huge step in trust. I mean, as humans, what we don't want to be is embarrassed to see that we got it wrong. We chose the wrong person, we made the wrong choice. For us as personally, of course, we don't like to be wrong. But if we're doing B2B purchases for a business, believe you me, there's nothing worse than almost our colleagues laughing at us because we made the wrong choice of who to trust with the company's money. So we have to really appreciate that. Storytelling is a lot about building that trust. It's a lot about saying, do I trust you enough to want to take the next step? Do I trust you to go beyond? Oh, okay. And then I think I like who you are. I like what you say. I'm maybe interested in what you do. To okay, I'm actually interested in what you do. To actually saying, I want what you do. I mean, those are 3 levels of trust. And today's conversation is about that I want what you do stage. And so when I get to, we have to be very aware of, where the person is on trust almost. That will affect which stories we'll tell them. I think I like Jay's point earlier. I love Jay's point earlier. Of course, I also like many of the points that Tanya made. So of course, when it comes to sales, we are talking to that 5% of people who say, I know you, I like you, I'm interested, I want to buy, sell to me. What's the price? So, but the stage before that is probably open to more like 10, maybe 15% of people that we know. Now, they're the ones who essentially are the leads that we generate. Now, to get people to become the leads that we generate, I think we need to learn to tell stories that resonate with them. See, that starts with, of course, again, even Teresa was right. You can tell, you can tell any story into any which way you want, but the story is that's going to get me to buy from you, my friends, is the one that says, I know your problem. I have fixed this problem before for people just like you. It's a story that says, I get you. It's a story that says all those things in your client's language. It sounds like a simple thing to say. But let me tell you, say on LinkedIn, for example, right? We have loads of coaches. There's coaches everywhere. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. But what happens that people don't know difference between one coach and the next coach, and they don't know which one to call. For your storytelling to work in that perspective, in that situation, you must speak your client's language. Now, part of my work, and I'm doing audio rooms for people, because audio rooms are essentially a lead generation space. Because people in the space, most of them will know my clients already. Most of them will have heard them speak before. Most of them will decide, okay, I like what Alex is saying. I like how she talks. I like what she talks about. Now, so this is our chance to move them beyond. I like you. I'm interested to actually want what Alexis does. That means she must speak the language of the clients, of the prospects. She must understand the problem the way they understand it. So that means almost like you have to truly get into their heads. And the parts of that conversation really is understanding who you're talking to, understanding how they see their problem. As you mentioned earlier, now this conversation today is all about creating a solution for a specific problem. That's what lead generation storytelling really is. You tell me how you're going to fix my specific problem, not all the other problems in the world, not my other problems. Tell me how you're going to fix this particular one that you can fix. Again, Jay gave us a good deal of methods. Jay mentioned using testimonials. Of course, it's a great way. The focus. Again, at this stage, you do want to make reference to the value you give, the solution you have, and why it works for this particular set of people who are just like me. This is all about being super targeted. Again, Tanya mentioned right at the beginning, as Hannah, that at this stage in the marketing cycle, in the sales funnel, in the buyer cycle, we will use things like ads that talk to individuals. We use personalized messages that tell you, here's how I can help you fix the problem you have. And by the way, take action now. That again, that call to action that Jay mentioned is so important. It's all right saying, do you trust me? And you say yes, and then I'm like, if I turn my back on you, then I've lost the sale, right? It must be, do you trust me to fix your problem? Yes, you do. Okay, let's do it. Click here, sign here. Now let's talk more to close the deal, or now let's at least get you into my community that way we can carry on talking until you're ready to buy. These are the things that sort of build trust, Obehi. It's not always easy. Again, I think many of us need to learn which story to tell for which particular function in our sales process. That comes from buying your books over here, of course. It comes from looking at your storytelling books. Let me stop talking. I've talked enough. Hopefully, I've answered your question over here.
Yes, you did. You did, my brother. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I really do. And of course, you are always on point. I appreciate that. All right, Tanya is in a hurry. They want to leave. Tanya, I want to say a goodbye by her final take here. Tanya, please go ahead.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for such an amazing room. I have learned so much from the speakers. It's definitely been, I hope it's been as insightful for those in the listening room here. So if you are here, you are experiencing stagnating growth, you are looking to grow, scale your business, and your operations are currently kind of like I just described earlier, like you're inside a rocket that is about to implode and your revenue is declining, we offer 15 calls per week to people. Most of our calls usually are business audits are paid. It's $1,000, but every week we have 15 complimentary calls available for anyone. So if you feel that you want to grow, you want to scale, and right now your revenue is declining, your operations are a mess, and you want to figure out what's the problem, you feel free to DM me. Just DM me the word audit, and I'll have that set up for you, and you can meet with one of the strategists, and they will go through your business and see where your issues are. And if they are alignment, we will tell you if we can support you. If not, we can show you where you can get the most help, because we still want to make that as valuable for you. So on this note, I'm going to leave you guys. Hope you guys have fun, and I hope to see you guys in the next room.
Thank you so much, Tanya.
Bye, Tanya.
Tanya, thank you so much for that. All right, so now what we are going to do, we're going to spend 1 minute each for the remaining room because of the time too. So we're going to be passing it on according to how the people came into the room. I think the next person on the line is Lady Drew. Please go ahead and share with us.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thank you for your show. To quickly learn me, I'm Lady Drew with a Siamese cat personality, Wonder Woman. You can connect with me anytime you want to. What I known in the years I've been out there, you've got to be authentic. You got to stick to the facts. You've got to state the facts, not opinions. You've got to learn every facet of the company, everyone that's involved with it, from the very start of the company to where it's at now. That way you learn exactly what is going on, why it's going on, what their successes and failures were, and why. You've got to respect every single person from every level, from the janitor to the owner of the company. You've got to speak to as many as you can to get their viewpoints. So that way you can truly formulate several plans, be flexible. Don't just hear them, listen to them. Have a passion that you love what you're doing. You really want to help this company, because then people will advertise more than any marketing company can do by word of mouth. And this has been proven many a time, such as a friend of mine owns his own landscaping company. He started out residential, now is up in he's in industrial and commercial. So once you do all this, people are going to get to know that you right off, and know that you really mean what you're doing. You really mean what you care and say that you do, and that you can present it. Don't be afraid of having more than one game plan. I've seen so many people out there trying to help other companies. They only have one or two or three. No, you've got to have multiple, because each company is original. Each person is original. And if you don't treat them as such, you're going to fail miserably. And I've seen it done time and time again. Anyway, I love you all. Y'all have a wonderful week. And like I said, if you want to connect with me, please do so. Blessed be.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate you, Lady Drew. All right, we move to Alexis. Please go ahead and share with us 60 seconds.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alexis Scurloff-James. I'm a writer, editor, author, and writing coach. That's what distinguishes me from other coaches. I am specifically a writing coach. How do I generate leads? What I believe is we need to stay current, not only relevant. Now, I've been in the business for over 30 years, so I have collectively built on my profession and experience and knowledge. But we have to stay current. Part of that is embracing technology as it changes. Embrace it, incorporate it into what you're doing. That's what I do. Social media. So you have to be on social media and talk about what you do. With the call to action, the call to action is, I wrote an ebook because that is current. So the ebook is on 10 tips how to start your writing journey. So I offer those. Then the call to action is how to get that book, how to be in touch with me. And that is how I do that. Then we have to keep up. Being as my business is words, I need to keep up with current words. Example, we used to have entrepreneurs and sole proprietors. Now it's solopreneur. We need to relate to what is current. We need to relate to our clients and how to get more clients. Also, the word fractional, that encompasses a lot of explanation. I'm a freelancer, remote worker, contract, on an as-needed basis. But now we can use fractional along with some of those words to let us know that we can do more than one project at a time. So it's all about relating also. We have to relate to the person. Listen to your potential client or your client. Mirror their emotion, their words. Listen to what they need and want, and then make sure that your story relates to theirs. And the only way to get that across is by effective listening. In writing, that's what I do. That's what makes me unique. I listen to what they need, make sure that their product or service, the content, the words, reflect the company, the person, and the product or service, and make sure that it is targeted to their specific audience. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for that, Alexis. I appreciate that sharing. That is really important. Thank you so much. Now, okay, we move to Teresa. Teresa, please go ahead and share with us. You have 60 seconds. Please go.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. To the audience and to all the speakers, I've gathered even more phenomenal information, and that is part of what's so important in lead generation in terms of knowing your audience, knowing your demographic. I am Teresa Roux, virtual wine concierge, which I am a wine consultant. And yes, I am very excited to be creating a wine series with Annie. And for that, the storytelling is exactly what it will embody, which means it's a series. It's, for me, in wine and food and hospitality and travel. It's about building on the original story. And so you have the traditions, the cultures, the original or originating, which then really grounds your potential client, customer, or guest. And then as you build the series, you want to build it so it's cohesive, so it's interesting, factual, and very relevant, while also keeping with cultural and or original agricultural, food, entertainment, all of that. I will park it here. I appreciate the time, and I am so very much looking forward to working with any and other of you, including Romy. And this is a phenomenal community. That's what lead generation and business storytelling is all about, is creating phenomenal community. Thank you.
Absolutely, Teresa. Thank you so much. Okay, we have Angelica in the room. Please, Angelica, go ahead and share with us. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you, Romy. Master storyteller yourself. I started off with an interview that you gave me when you did your podcast, and I'll never forget how, in telling a story, you help other people become comfortable. So I also try to do that in my audio rooms. It's important for people to feel comfortable and for you to ask the right questions so that the message could get across and so people could share their story in a way that they're comfortable telling it. So, along with that, you need to uh, line it up with the business. So, that's very important as well. But I think when people get to know you when you're telling your story, uh, that's also something that people see because when you tell the story, people are asking themselves, do I want to work with this person? Is this someone that I trust? So all of those things come into play when you're telling your story. And is this a person that really cares about others? Because we want to work with somebody that cares about others. And all of that could be relayed as we're telling our stories. So thank you for giving me the opportunity of telling my story of how you made me feel comfy, my friend. And I love the way you start your podcast with music. So back over to you.
Thank you so much, Angelica. I appreciate you. I really do. All right, so we'll pass it to Hannah now. Hannah, please go ahead. You have 60 seconds, your final thought. Then we'll move to Izu and then to Annie. Time is already spent. Please go ahead.
I feel like, first of all, everyone has said such amazing things about storytelling. First of all, I have to say, like, well done, everyone that has shared. It's been so much value coming up from the audience and just from people up here on stage. But I want to add by saying, I think the most important thing is to keep learning, keep progressing, having a growth mindset. I love the point that somebody just made. I just can't remember her name right now, but she spoke about, being open to learning. And I think that that's the whole essence of us even having this event today is, giving room for people to come and learn and increase knowledge, and also for the speakers to learn something, because I have to admit I have learned so much already today. So I feel like that's the best thing to really have, even when it comes to storytelling and anything in life, is having that growth mindset and having that open mindset where you are teachable and you constantly are adding value to yourself. I do believe that when you have that mindset, there's absolutely nothing that you cannot get. Everything is reachable, everything is in your reach. But I will say as well, another way to be a master of something is to consistently improve upon it. So keep practicing, keep writing your stories, keep putting it out there. That's something that I want to add, because when I first started out, I struggled with, the fear of being judged, the embarrassment, the cringe-worthy moments. It's all part of the process. It's all part of learning. So keep putting out your stories, keep learning. And if you want to shorten your process, then reach out to any one of us up here, because that's why we're here. We're here because we have gone through it for you. We have gone through it already, and then we can assist you properly. So feel free to reach out to any one of us up here on stage, and we'll be sure to assist you with storytelling for lead generation. Because like I said in the beginning, for a story to be good, you must have been able to persuade, especially business storytelling. Convert, persuade, convince. These are the important elements. And so if you don't know how to do it, pop us a message and we'll be happy to. Once again, I'm Hannah Elachaba, and I cater to women entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs who want to stand out on LinkedIn, but also position themselves for more. And have a good day. Thank you so much, Mr. Obehi, and thank you to all my wonderful co-hosts.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Annie, what is your 60 seconds to conclude?
Oh, 60 seconds. Okay. I don't know what it is. Just flashes mic. Look, I think that storytelling, is an art as much as, a skill that we need to learn, right? We need to learn how to make our stories, engaging. We need to learn how to use different parts of storytelling. Contrasts, conflict, add a bit of tension, add a bit of drama, maybe add humor, add emotion. So these things don't come naturally, right? We have to just keep learn how to make our stories more entertaining, more appealing. I mean, if your story turns your listener off, then nothing's going to happen, right? I said, the only way that we're going to learn all these different things, and as Alexis says, keep updating with the times. Now, that's how we achieve what Hannah said, which is what storytelling in lead generation is all about, really, which is making people take action. Unless they take that action, we'll not make the money we're meant to make, right? So now to keep learning, so now check out resources, talk to people who know. So Obehi's books are there for a reason, to teach you all these things. So that's, I'll say, and then go from there. Thank you, Obehi.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I know maybe perhaps Izu is having some technical issue there, but it's okay. We have gotten the best of him here today. And of course, he's going to be here again 15 days from now, because we are here every 15 days to bring value to the people about storytelling. I'm really indebted to my co-host here because they add absolutely great value to the conversation. And of course, I thank also the people in the audience, because if you were not there, we will not be here. So I thank each and every one of you. I see Terrence, you started at the beginning, Samuel and Andre, thank you so much for being here. Bernard, all of you that are in the audience, I thank each and every one of you. I say Baccarat, my brother, I'm so honored to have all of you here. Please come around again. Every 40 days, we are here. I appreciate you. You see, the best part of it is that we are here to connect. And this is what we have also talked about today, that we need to use storytelling as a lead generation. Whatever is it that you are offering, let the people know who you are and what you represent. If that is clear, then you're selling, because you need to make sales at the end of the day. It becomes entirely easier for you, because you don't need to do the hard selling. You do the soft selling, because you already done the selling by letting people know who you are and what you represent and how they can benefit from you. So keep on using storytelling. If you are maybe new to this and you want to learn more, there are this 5-part book series about storytelling. It just takes you from the ABC of storytelling to some of the most advanced. They are available on our website, aclasses.org, or you can even send me a DM. I can send you the free chapter of it so that you can have a feel of what the book is about. Then apart from just the book, we also have courses around it, because the intention is that there are people who do not want to read, but they want to consume the information in audio format. We have all of them available for you. So all you just need to do is to ask. But the asking, you have to do it, because I don't know what you want. You are the one that will make the request. Then every other thing will become much easier. So thank every one of you, and see you 50 days from now.